Everything about this property is serene and peaceful.
It's an oasis of nature, spiritually lifting.
Just outside Blenheim, in the heart of the famous wine region, is the Marlborough Lodge, a refined country estate where history and luxury unite.
I love the landscape here and the history of the house. So it's always been a bit of a love affair of mine. The grounds are so special. Every season has something very unique. I love arriving here every day. It was built in 1901 in Blenheim. It was specifically built as a convent. So there were 19 tiny rooms where the nuns lived. They were Sisters of Mercy who came to Blenheim specifically for nursing. In 1995, a Dutch couple purchased it from the church. They cut it up into 5 pieces and they brought it out here to the current location, putting it all back together, completely renovating the 19 rooms into a 4-bedroom B&B. It's been through quite a few facelifts. Now the owner is a Christchurch Kiwi gal. She saw the Marlborough Lodge, fell in love with it and wanted to restore it to its former beauty. And it was changed then from the 4-bedroom B&B into the 10-suite luxury lodge. When they did the renovation, they maintained the integrity of its former life. So you see beautiful arched windows and stained glass windows. The features really blend well with the modern interior. Each piece of art was selected for a space within the building. We have a gorgeous little library. We have the beautiful chapel space, which has been renovated as a lounge and bar area. You get snippets and imagery of its former life.
There's a kind of a spirituality about seeing a building with religious connotations now being reused. Coming from England, where there were stately homes everywhere, this is a corner of England in New Zealand.
The lodge provides the ultimate retreat for adventure or relaxation and is nestled within 16 acres of secluded parklands.
The layout of the estate is very complementary to the centrepiece of the Marlborough Lodge. It has followed the lines of nature, so we have a creek that runs through it. We have a service road that comes in. We have a vineyard block. The gardens were designed to link those various spaces and to accentuate some of those lines and to create vistas across these places. Well, my grandfather was the first farmer in the family. My father went from farming into horticulture, so most of my childhood was living on a nursery. I studied landscape architecture at university, and this is giving me a chance to put some of those theories and experiences into practice. There's a great colour palette here. There are many evergreens, but what lifts that palette is the range of the exotic and the European trees and the American trees, the spring growth, the summer flowers, the autumn foliage colours. It is very peaceful here. We have the bird song as the background to the lovely formal gardens. One of the new things that we're looking to do in the Marlborough Lodge is to start producing most of the fruit and vegetables that we will be serving in the restaurant. Herbs from our little herb wheel. We've already got a great citrus grove. We want to produce all of the green crops, all of the vegetables, so that we know where the provenance of the food is.
Chefs are modern-day pirates. We create our own mountain to climb every single day. We're very ambitious with what we want to put onto the plate.
After 20 years of working in big European cities, a holiday in New Zealand convinced head chef Toby Stewart and his wife that Marlborough was the place for them.
We decided to see if we could make it work in a place where the sun shines most of the days. There's real good produce and also wine connection. We felt that we could actually become part of that. I first started cooking as a teenager. I found I had an artistic flair for it. I just decided that if I was going to do it, then I'd try to do it to the best of my abilities. I spent 4 years in France, working all the way up to 3 Michelin star standard. But you never really stop learning. There's always something to learn. We've invested in a beautiful charcoal oven. There's that kind of simplicity of cooking with some fire and some flames and smoke. One of the dishes that I'm planning on doing is a grilled piece of cost lettuce, just charred very nicely, an anchovy and rosemary vinaigrette and some herbs. And it's delicious. It's just something different with that little bit of smokiness and a little bit of char flavour from the grill. I actually went for a 6-week work trip to Uruguay. I worked with a chef called Francis Malman, who's regarded as one of the kings of fire. We cooked for 6 weeks on only fire, and I like that simplicity. One of the great advantages about cooking on charcoal when it comes to cooking meat is as the fat drops onto the embers, that initiates a different flavour profile, and that's what gives the meat that extra little something. The char will just help to bring everything together with the wine.
The final jewel in the crown is the vineyard, previously leased by other winemakers, but now producing for the Marlborough Lodge itself.
It's a boutique vineyard of about 3,000 vines, covers about 1 hectare of land. In the vineyard, we've got 3 varieties, Merlot, Malbec, and Riesling.
We've just completed our first vintage, and we're really looking forward to releasing that very shortly. All the staff here have one thing in common: passion for the property.
We've got great parkland here. We've got the lovely house as the centrepiece to that. Our legacy should be to enrich the backbone of what's already here.
I feel like we're just the caretakers, and her journey can continue on to bigger and better things.